Well, anxieties, depression, and all type of mental health can be very, very problematic for us, of course. And I'm sure that each of you guys have felt it before. Say yes if you have felt it before.
Yes!
Well, indeed, because this thing is just something that happened to us human every day. Human with a heart have these type of feelings. They are not eventually too happy, but at the same time they can be very, very depressed and feeling some constant anxieties that we didn't even know. Now, I want to tell you a little bit of my experience. I want to share a little bit, even though it's the same as other people, but it is how I personally felt based on it. So I feel like as if sometimes I am not that important to people. Like, I try to get out from that mind of state, but at the same time, it's just something that I couldn't get out with. I feel like I am a burden amongst people. I feel so useless that I sometimes have no will of hope to live anymore. I mean, I am sure that every person in here have felt that before. And not only me, and dear kind audience, have you ever felt as if you're so useless to people and like you're trying to get out from that mind, but you still think that you are useless?
Yes.
Yeah, indeed. Well, these type of feelings are very normal for us, but in this society, of course we have felt it before, but because society have raised a high standard onto something. Well, my coping mechanism is not really that good to be followed with, but I sometimes listen to some musics and I try to understand the lyrics as if that music represents myself. Because if I try to tell my feelings to people and they wouldn't understand me, it's just the same as if I'm talking to myself. Now, what I want to say is that music sometimes represents ourselves, and it's okay to cry with it, and even though it's not a healthy habit for me, because I eventually cried a lot with the music, it's just my coping mechanism, because every people I know have their own way to cope with it. Some of them might eat lots of junk foods, or some of them just took many sleeps in one day and not doing anything, because that's me. I felt that before. I feel like I don't want to get up from my bed. I feel like I'm too lazy to do everything because I don't have that energy to do even my favorite activities. I just don't have any interest to it. It's a shame actually, because we have to have that one day to having that kind of feelings into us. Now, what I try to cope with it is that I sometimes drink lots of water. It's not sometimes actually, lots of times, to make sure that I dehydrated, and at the same time I didn't eat too much, so I didn't gain too much weight, because it makes me kind of happy. When I ate too much, I feel like it's kind of heavy, so you know, my mind have an overthinking state, and sometimes I cried a lot. My dear kind audience, when did the last time you cried?
Last week?
How about the other one? Yesterday. I think it is a constant state of anger, of course. Well, I mean, these mental health impacts can literally make us drowned with all of those flows of sadness, and everything just rise with it. Now, this mental health impact can be very, very dangerous, of course. And one of them is what I have felt before sometimes, is suicide. I mean, it's not having a willing to live, and I tried not to make with. It is sometimes very, very, very not good. Not sometimes, it is so bad if you felt that for yourself. Now, I'm going to talk about the suicide rates in global. It increasingly high at this rate. It's 2021, and people feeling as if they are not one with the society standard. And we also have felt that too, because social medias have made us that thing to us, and they make a high social standards, which we felt like we are not one with it, and we try to blend with that standards, of course. And sometimes when we don't have that will to blend with it, we can sometimes feel like we are not one with the society. So why would I live? I don't have that constant thing that makes me blend with the society. And now that this suicide rate is what I want to say is in Indonesia. Indonesia rate is very high too. And what I have obtained and observed is that male in Indonesia have a very, very high suicide rate, and it's so sad and very pathetic. I hope that we can all know that this mentality state is as bad as we think as society. Okay, we need to take it for granted, and we need to make sure that everything that happened until these days, because even on this second, people have killed themselves because of mental health issues, and we need to take that for granted. That is Equalities in Sing Mental Health. I am Audrey. Thank you for listening.